we didn't have a live stream last night because all of the Enviroguard distributors were actually here at our offices. But today, based upon some conversations that we had last week, we decided to not only do a live stream today, but talk about some topics that actually came up last week that we think will be helpful to everybody. I think I've said it before. We're constantly having conversations, whether it's amongst ourselves or as we come to realizations with customers and things in the field that we think would be really valuable to share. And the conversation that always comes up when we're talking about anything moisture related, especially as it pertains to like foundation walls and things, is efflorescence. And I think that there's this hearsay that efflorescence really isn't a problem, but I'm here to tell you that when you look at what efflorescence is, which is this calcium carbonate that is coming out of, calcium hydroxide, which is coming out of the walls themselves, and where they're losing density over time, it is an issue. But the good news is that it can be corrected. So on top of talking about moisture in maybe a general sense, and on top of talking about efflorescence, the real issue that came to the table or the forefront was maybe people don't understand exactly the best practices in applying things like sealants that are meant to penetrate substrates. So we're coming to you today from the basement underneath our office, and we've got a obvious foundation wall back here. And one of the toughest walls to deal with is a cinder block wall where you have a lot more calcium hydroxide. It's much more porous. So today we're hoping to walk you through this and to answer your questions as we go along. So if you're a part of today's live stream, if you're in the chat, please reach out, say hi. We'd love to talk to you. We want to answer your questions. And as always, just start a dialogue. And after today, if you have questions, if you're looking to add moisture control services on any level to your business, whether it's after a remediation, or you're looking at exterior moisture controls, or you're looking at foundational moisture controls like we'll be focusing on here today, let's do that, okay? We've got, of course, distributors in all regions, but they're there to be your support and to make sure you get what you need on a timely basis. We're here to make sure you get the technical marketing and sales support that you need. And when we say marketing and sales support, what we mean is we were having a conversation yesterday with a customer up in New Jersey. And we realized that, for example, he wanted to begin getting odor mitigation services going in his business. And we've had enough experience over the years to know that those services can really shine in helping drive new business into your existing maybe major 3 services, which might be mold, fire, water, right? And this might keep you in front of those customers on a regular basis, week in and week out, not only as a great profit center, but as a way just to stay in front of them all the time. So when we talk about marketing and sales support, we're talking about literally sitting down face-to-face with you in a setting like this, right? But one-on-one, of course, and then looking at presentations that you can use with your customers, handouts, all of those sorts of things that can make sales turnkey for your organization. And then what we would like to focus on, and what I'm sure you want to focus on, is making sure that 12 out of 12 months, you've got strong sales, right? As business people, we all want strong sales each and every month. So that's where we look for that partnership at. And that's where we hope that you would value your relationship with us. So let's go ahead and get to it. And I think the first thing let's do, Grayson, if you would, pull up that graphic that we put together this morning. You may have seen that Tanner Covington's brand new to our group. He's actually sitting here with us, watching me make a fool of myself on camera here. And so when we were talking about sealants this morning, would you pull that up to maybe a larger screen? I think maybe everybody can see it, even if they don't see me. That would be okay. Maybe share your screen.
Let's see if this works.
Okay. There, yeah, and then blow that up to a full screen. There we go. Okay, so what we're looking at here, I'm gonna move over here in front of my own screen, is we're looking at a wall. Picture this as the cinder block wall that's behind me, and then on the right hand of your screen, you're going to see that we've got ground, right? So that that ground, and just to the left of where it says ground there, that is our imaginary French drain, okay? And then you've got your foundation wall. Now, up above the ground, what we've said is we've got wind-driven moisture that's pushing moisture into that wall, into that foundation wall. And then on the other side is of course, the interior of the foundation, like we are here in the basement right now. Now, if you notice, I've got Enviroseal written twice up above the wall there. Okay, once on to the exterior of the wall and once to the interior of the wall. And that's because Enviroseal is a product that permanently cross-links with the calcium hydroxide, forming a calcium silicate in the wall that's insoluble, meaning that as moisture hits that wall, it's no longer going to drive efflorescence either to the outside of the wall or, more probable, to the inside of the wall. And so what we want to do with Enviroseal is use that to densify that concrete through that reaction of going from calcium hydroxide to calcium silicate, and now you no longer have that efflorescence issue, okay? And that's just to give you an idea, this is what is used in like big warehouses to prevent wear and tear of concrete floors over time. Those warehouses have those floors treated and then polished because it creates a much denser floor so you don't get dusting up and things of that nature when it comes to running foot traffic or forklifts and things of that nature over it. We're doing the same thing here, but now we're preventing efflorescence. Now, once we've prevented efflorescence, we've got a much better foundation, pardon the pun, of stopping moisture. So not only does it densify that foundation wall and prevent it from eroding and creating cavities and things of that nature within the wall that it was once doing and stopping the efflorescence, but now we can seal this wall in different ways to give it the performance values that we're looking for. On the outside, that means preventing wind-driven moisture from impacting that wall and eroding it further, right? So the X4 product can be applied right on top of any exterior facades or parging, anything of that nature. So we're talking about ephes, parging, aggregate, brick and mortar. You kind of name that surface and we can stop moisture from penetrating that surface, and instead it's just repelling it. It's a big deal for preventing like freeze-thaw issues and things of that nature. If we move to the inside, then our partnership with Enviroseal is Enviroguard, right? Enviroguard will resist up to 23 psi of hydrostatic pressure, which is over double the competition that you might see on the shelves of Home Depot or whatever it might be, or even other commercially available products. We are more than twice the psi resistance when it comes to hydrostatic pressure. So that means we've got a really great moisture control for both sides of that foundation wall. Now, before we continue, let's move back over so that they can see what I'm doing here at the wall itself, and we can talk about sealing. All right.
And then bring up camera 2 if you would. Great. Okay. All right. So here we are. And of course, right here, we've got a wall. Yeah, there we go. All right. So right here, we've got a bare wall. Okay. And in my pump sprayer, I've got for us today Enviroseal. And the reason I chose Enviroseal is this, like any sealer, is going to wick into this concrete block. Okay. But I think that you'd be surprised about how much sealer it takes to get into this concrete block. It's not just about, when it comes to, let me move this up a little bit here. When it comes to stopping efflorescence formation, what we're looking to do is penetrate the entire block as much as it takes, the face of the block, which is probably an inch to an inch and a half thick, and stopping any potential for migration of moisture that would lead to wicking that soluble calcium hydroxide to the surface. Okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate this for you real quick so you can see this at work, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up. The reason I start from the bottom is because if I were gonna start from the top, you're not going to ever have an idea of how much it's going to take before you start seeing runoff, which is what you want to see. Okay, so I'm going to just watch myself here. Okay, and I'm going to start applying. And as soon as I start seeing runoff, which is right there, now I can begin working my way up the wall. Okay? So we want complete saturation with this, and the better we saturate to start, the fewer coats that we need to apply. So as I'm looking at this, I'm getting complete saturation, okay? And it's going to prevent me from having to reapply. Now, on more dense surfaces, that wouldn't be the case. I'd have to make faster application. Excuse me, faster application. In other words, I would saturate very rapidly instead of what's going on here. I'll probably do one good coat here, and that's all it's going to require. So I'm just going to go down through here and just test myself to make sure that I've got complete saturation, and I will have penetrated the entire face once that happens of the concrete block. So this is effectively going to give me the treatment that I need to stop efflorescence. Okay? All right. So not all sealers work the same way like that. Okay? If we're stopping efflorescence, we're looking to penetrate to the core of this, or all the way through that brick face, because again, we're looking to stop that. We're looking to react with that calcium hydroxide, form that that calcium silicate, and stop efflorescence altogether, so that we can do things like this, right? So behind me here then is the second step to that, where we can masonry guard over that Enviroseal and give ourselves that moisture wicking protection that we're looking for in a waterproofer. Okay? Now what's going to happen is we don't have to worry about efflorescence pushing that waterproofing coating off the surface, because that's really the reason that most waterproofers fail. If you ever have been in a basement or a crawl space where you see all that flaking of waterproofer, whatever that waterproofer might be, it's not because the waterproofer failed. It's because the efflorescence is beginning to push it off, and it's causing that flaking. So I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. Now, the same thing if we were looking at a, let me see here, here we go. If we were looking at a surface, let's say from the exterior, right? And there's, you know, a concrete block is going to be your most porous surface, of course. If we were looking at brick and mortar, or, you know, aggregates and things of that nature, we're not going to need as much Enviroseal, but the surface is going to tell you how much it can absorb, okay? So we would apply Enviroseal and make sure it absorbs as much as it can. We would let it dry, and then we can come back behind that and then really apply the coating or the sealant that we want to really perform the heavy lifting. In this case, if we were outside, and let's say that this was brick and mortar, I could Enviroseal it first to prevent any potential for efflorescence and to densify those surfaces, right? Even mortar joints and things of that nature will benefit through that densification process, because again, it's going to convert that calcium hydroxide to calcium silicate, right? It becomes insoluble, meaning that moisture won't wick those minerals with it anymore. Okay, it'll stay in that case, the mortar. Then once it's dry, we can come back and apply X4 to that surface, and now it's just going to shed moisture off the side of that building, that foundation wall, whatever it might be. So I hope that makes sense and is helpful. Do we have any questions that yet in the chat that I need to answer?
We've got great information from Jason.
Oh, thanks, Jason. So I hope that's helpful to you. This, if we can go to the other camera real quick. This live stream isn't meant to be like, you know, long-winded or anything, but we just realized last week as we were talking through this that not everybody knows how to apply sealants properly, or maybe what to look for, or that those services are available and can become valuable to your customers so that we can prevent
erosion, freeze thaw damage, unnecessary and premature failure of those surfaces, right? Whether it's inside or out. So if we can be helpful to you, if you have questions about how to make moisture controls a part of your business and how to begin using those to give your customers peace of mind, reach out to us. We'll be glad to work with you step by step and even produce the tools that you need to get that message across regularly to every customer that you have. So thanks a lot for joining us on today's live stream. And let's see, next week I'm going to be on the road. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do a live stream next week. If not, we'll see you the following Friday, okay? So thanks for being a part of today, everybody. If you have any questions, reach out to us, and we'll see you soon. Bye.